Chapter 8, Lesson 2, Find Volume of Cones. You will be able to find the volume of cones. A cone is a three-dimensional figure with one circular base connected by a curved surface to a single vertex. The volume of a cone is 1/3 capital B H, where capital B represents the area of the base. Since the base is a circle, we can replace that capital B with pi r squared, because a circle's area is represented by pi r squared. So our volume formula is 1/3 pi r squared h. Find the volume of each cone, round to the nearest tenth. So here we have our radius and our height. Volume equals 1/3 big BH, but the area of the base can be substituted with pi r squared. So 1/3 pi r squared h. Plug in what we know. 1/3 pi, radius is 3, and height is 6. On your calculator, do 1/3 times pi times 3 squared times 6, and we get a volume of 56.548, or 56.5, and it's cubic inches. Letter B. Again, we have a radius and a height. Volume equals 1/3 capital BH. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Volume equals 1/3 pi, radius is 2 squared, and times 7. On the calculator, 1/3 times pi times 2 squared times 7, and we get 29.321, or 29.3 cubic feet. Letter C. This time we have a diameter. Remember, the radius is half the diameter, so it'll be 12. And 26 is our height. Volume is 1/3 capital BH, which is 1/3 pi r squared h. Plug in what we know. Volume equals 1/3 pi, radius is 12, and height is 26. So 1/3 times pi times 12 squared times 26, plug that in, and we get a volume of 3,920.707, or 3,920.7 millimeters cubed. Letter D. A cone-shaped paper cup is filled with water. The height of the cup is 10 centimeters, and the diameter is 8 centimeters. What is the volume of the paper cup? Well, I need to find radius, which is half the diameter, so 4. Volume equals 1/3 capital BH. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Plug in what you know. 1/3 pi, radius is 4 squared, and height is 10. Plug it into your calculator. 1/3 times pi times 4 squared times 10 is 167.551, or 167.6 centimeters cubed. When a composite solid includes cylinders and cones, you can find the volume by decomposing it into solids whose volumes you know how to find. Find the following volumes round to the nearest tenth. So we have two shapes here. We have a cone and we have a cylinder. Let's start with the cylinder. This 8 represents a diameter, which means the radius is 4. And this 4 feet represents the height of the cylinder. Now recall, a cylinder is volume equals capital B H or pi r squared h. Volume equals pi, radius is 4, and height is also 4. So pi times 4 squared times 4 is 201.061, and we'll round at the end. Now let's do the cone. The cone's height is 5, and again this is 8, which means our radius is 4. And by this I meant the diameter. The diameter is still 8. It matches what's on the top here. And which means the radius is 4. It's half of that. So volume equals 1/3 big BH. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Plug in what you know. 1/3 pi. Radius is 4. Height this time is 5. In your calculator, 1/3 times pi times 4 squared times 5, 83.775. Now, each piece has its separate area. To find the total area, we add them together. So 201.061 plus 83.775 is 284.836. Now we'll round to the nearest tenth. 284.8 cubic feet. Here we've got two cones. So I'll do this one as cone 1, and this one will be cone 2. So in cone, it looks like the radius for both is 6. The height for our first cone is 5.5, and the height for our second cone is 13. So the volume of our first cone is 1/3 pi r squared h, which is 1/3, oops, I should have put in there, let's move this all down. Volume is 1/3 big BH. Okay. So let's continue. 1/3 pi, radius is 6 squared. The height of my first one is 5.5. Plug it in. 1/3 times pi times 6 squared times 5.5. We get a volume for our first cone of 207.345. Now for our second, 1/3 big BH, or 1/3 pi r squared h. Plug in the numbers. 1/3 pi, radius is 6. Height of this one now is 13. Put them in the calculator. 1/3 times pi times 6 squared times 13 is 490.088. And to find the total area, we add them together. So 207.345 plus 490.088 round to the nearest tenth. We get 697.4, and this is in inches, so cubic inches.